A few weeks ago, Starbucks did something here that a lot of people in this country will never forgive. Then the chairman went on television and apologized. So here is the one question for tonight. Did that apology mean anything? Or did they just get away with it? You have probably already seen a video explaining the scandal, the codes, the date, the bowing chairman. I am not going to repeat any of it. I live in Gwangju. This is the city all of it points back to. So I am going to give you 3 things those videos could not. What the apology actually sounded like from inside this country. What happened after the cameras left. And what I think it all means. Start with the apology, because here, it did not sound the way it looked. You saw the chairman bow, deep, 3 times, in a hotel, in front of the cameras. To you, watching from outside, that probably looked real. A powerful man, humbled. Here, most people heard the opposite. And the reason is one simple thing about this country that almost no foreigner knows. Here, a fast-polished apology is not trusted. It is suspected. In your world, rushing to say sorry looks responsible. Here, a man who books a hotel ballroom and bows on cue within days looks like a man reading a script his crisis team wrote overnight. The speed does not say sorry, it says clean up. And there is a rule to apologies here. A real one stops at 3 words. It is my fault. The moment you add a but or an explanation, it flips. It stops being an apology. It becomes a defense. We even have a word for the thing the whole country is really judging. 진정성. It means the realness underneath. Not the words, the feeling under the words. People here have spent their whole lives scoring it. A man who says only, it was my fault, and then goes quiet, gets believed. A man who says it was my fault, but is finished before he lifts his head. He's had the buts in it. You have seen the bow before. Even if you do not know this country, you have seen it in the dramas. The bent back, the held silence. When it is real, a room goes quiet. That is exactly why a fake one is easy to spot here. People grew up watching the real thing, so they know the counterfeit on site. So the public did what it always does. It listened past the bow. It checked for the real feeling underneath. And it decided there was none there. People here grade these things like judges. They have done it their whole lives. They score the realness, not the words. To this country, the apology read as theater. Whether the man meant it or not, only he knows. But the read here was nearly unanimous, and there is a second reason it was never going to land, no matter how deep the bow. In this country, when one powerful owner runs a company, that owner is treated as the company's character. There is even a phrase for it. Owner risk, the idea that one man's private worldview is a danger to the whole business, because the business is really just him, made large. And this chairman had a history. Years back, he spent days posting the old anti-communist slogans the dictatorship once printed on walls. Back then, those words marked people. You decide what it means that he reached for them. So people here did not picture a junior employee who slept through history class. They saw a glimpse of what the house at the top might actually be. You cannot bow that away. A bow answers one question. Are you sorry? It does nothing for the real one. What are you? So that is the first answer. The apology did not land. But that opens a stranger question. If the public saw through it, why did saying sorry make things worse? Why did the fire grow after he bowed? That is where this stops being a normal scandal. What happened after the cameras left? Here is what those videos never showed you. Most of them stopped filming right after the bow. The bow was not the end. It was the start of something worse. Within days, the official groups that guard the memory of the 1980 massacre acted. The Memorial Foundation, the wounded survivors, the bereaved families. It did not post a statement and go home. They walked into a police station and filed criminal charges against the chairman, against the fired executive. Under a law, that makes mocking that uprising a crime. They did not want another apology. They had one, and they rejected it. One of their leaders said it plainly to reporters. The apology was not really an apology. It was a man focused only on getting out of the situation. So they did not ask for sorry. They told the police, on the record, that they wanted him prosecuted. Some asked that he be barred from leaving the country while it was looked into. They are planning a petition drive for strong punishment. Think about who these people are. They have spent their whole lives guarding the memory of the dead. They looked at a billionaire bowing on national television, and they decided the bow was worth so little that they filed to have him charged instead. And they would not be quieted. The company kept asking to sit down with them. One of their leaders called those requests exactly what he thought they were: lobbying. And he told the company to stop. These families were not looking for a handshake and a check. They wanted a court. Now hold on, because the obvious thought here is, sure, but will any of that actually stick? Keep that question. I will come back to it. Because it was not only the families pushing. Watch how high this went. The president of the country attacked the company in public, in blunt words, days after the apology was supposed to have ended it. The police did not treat it like a public relations headache either. An elite investigative unit took the case. The kind usually saved for serious crime. They started calling people in. Government ministries pulled the brand out of their own buildings. Public worker groups told members to stop buying the gift cards. Picture that for a second. The head of state pushing from the top, the families of the dead pushing from the ground, both aimed at one company, over one cup, at the same time. And the money bled. On the worst days, stores hit only about 85% of target. People deleted the app. They demanded their prepaid balances back, which here is a big deal because almost everyone keeps money loaded in that thing. It got bad enough that the largest shareholder opened an emergency window just to let people empty their accounts and leave. Here is a small detail that tells you how deep it cuts. In this country, people send each other coffee as a gift through their phones. Constantly, a Starbucks voucher was permanently one of the top gifts you could send. During all this, it fell off the top of that list. Think about what that means. People were not just refusing to buy for themselves. They had stopped wanting to be seen giving it. The brand had become something you did not want your name attached to. So that is the second answer. The country did not accept the apology. It turned the sorry into a criminal case. And honestly, at that point, it should feel hopeful. The public refused to be managed. So, did they get away with it? Right here, you would say no. Not a chance. Except this is the exact moment something happened that unsettled me. And it is the thing you came here to understand. When it got said out loud, remember the trick of this kind of cruelty. It hides. It stays deniable. It buries the insult inside something innocent, so anyone who notices can be called crazy. This time, the disguise came off, in public, on a stage, with names attached. There was an election only days away, and instead of staying quiet, a wing of the country's politicians chose to defend the company, loudly. As a matter of freedom, sit with how strange that is. The smart vote-winning play was to take the side of the cop, not to go quiet, to stand up for it on camera and dare anyone to object. One lawmaker mocked the whole thing. A cup company says tank, he said. That obviously just means a container for liquid. Should we go investigate water tanks next? He said that about a campaign that landed on the anniversary of a massacre, as a joke, with his name on it. Another public figure told people to buy Starbucks on purpose and post selfies, just to spite the boycott. A party leader built his closing pitch around it. This election, he said, is about whether free citizens get to choose their own coffee. The cup became a costume. Wear it. And you showed your side. The other side fired back hard. They said a movement willing to defend all of this might as well call itself the party of that troll forum. And ordinary people got caught in it. Actors were dropped from campaigns over a single photo with the wrong cup in their hand. A coffee order had become a loyalty test for a whole country. Now put yourself in the place of one of those families. You file criminal charges in the morning. And by evening, a politician is on television holding the same brand of coffee, smiling, telling the country that your grief is an overreaction. That was the week they lived through, the lawsuits and the laughter, on the same day, on the same screen. So look at one single week. On one side, the bereaved families filing criminal charges. On the other, politicians on stages treating the same event as a punchline and a campaign prop. The grief and the joke, side by side, same screens, same week. That is the third answer, and to me it is the ugliest one. What people suspected was hiding inside a number on a cup. Did not need to hide anymore. It could be said on a stage to applause and cost nothing. That is my read. Watch the clips and form your own. So, did they apologize or did they get away with it? I live here. Let me tell you what I think. And I want to be clear. This part is mine, not the news. What I think. I think, in the end, not much happens to anyone. A lot of people here have quietly landed in the same place. The apology, the one so many already call a show, will most likely be remembered as the moment this started to blow over. Not the moment anyone understood anything. The investigation will probably lose its teeth. Even the lawyers here say the same. Because the law was written narrowly. These things almost always fade, and remember the question I told you to hold. Will any of it stick? That is the answer. Probably not. Not in a courtroom. By autumn, maybe sooner, the stores here will be full again. Not because anyone forgave anything, because convenience beats conscience. Every single time, in the long run, people get tired. The app is easy. The coffee is on every corner. I have seen it before. The country catches fire. The fire is real. For 2 weeks, it looks like something finally changed. Then a friend sends a gift card. Because the gift card is the easiest gift there is, a meeting gets booked at the one cafe everyone can find. And the line is back to normal before the leaves turn. The rage is real. The forgetting is also real. The forgetting lasts longer. And I will be honest about my own part in that. I will probably be back in one of those stores too. Not this month. Maybe not this year. But eventually, because I am as tired and as busy as anyone. And the coffee is on my corner too. That is the quiet part of it. The forgetting is not someone else's weakness. It is mine. It is all of ours. But before you decide, I only came here to depress you. Let me tell you the one thing in all of this that I think actually matters. And it is the part those other videos get wrong. They will tell you it was a few bad actors who slipped into a marketing department, dragged those few into the light, and the problem is solved. I wish that were true, but the applause at those rallies says it was never only a few. The clean villain you can remove is its own kind of false comfort. It lets the country feel like it won, and then go back to its coffee. So I am not going to hand you that ending. What I believe is simpler and worse. A wound got used, an apology landed that few people here found real. A joke got cheered out loud. And by next season, almost everyone will have moved on. The only ones still carrying it will be the ones who are always going to carry it. The families, this city, the ones who count. But here is the thing I actually want you to take from this. The deniability is the whole machine. As long as a thing can be called a coincidence, the people who do it pay nothing. And the people who notice get called paranoid. That is the trap. And the only thing that has ever worked against it is a lot of people refusing, at the same time, to look away. This country, for a few weeks, refused to look away. The charges, the boycott, the families who would not take the handshake. That refusal is the one part of this I am proud of, whatever happens in court. The cop was never the point. The point is what a whole country may be about to learn one more time, that you can do this here and survive it. You have to understand what May means in this city. Every year, the streets fill with people carrying flowers. They walk to graves that hold the very young. It is not a history lesson here. It is a wound people touch with their hands. So when a cell landed on that date, and a politician later laughed about it on the stage, it did not feel far away to me. It happened in the place where I am raising my kids, on a date this whole city stops for. That is the part that those videos could not tell you. Because to know it, you have to live here. It is past 2 in the morning in Gwangju. The kids are asleep, and the road where the real tanks came is still right where it was. Stay real, because that is what I crave.